What year did you start doing graffiti?
I started doing graffiti, well, I guess all my life because I would see it constantly. And I admired that, so when I, back up here in LA, when I would see the Cholo gangster graffiti as a young kid, I go, I identified with it. So when I started messing around in 1968, and I just graduated high school in 67. So my first tag that I went up hard with Senor Suerte was 1969.
69.
Over 50 years.
Wow, how was the graffiti scene in 69 though? Was it just gang shit?
Only gang shit, and it was really underground. Only in the rivers and only where the gangs were, you know.
In the neighborhoods, right?
If you were Sea Boys, you kept it over there in Cypress. If you were, you know, Dogtown, you kept it downtown. Avenues, only kept it up here, up the river in Highland Park.
How long did it take for you to develop the style that you have? I know your style probably developed and changed over the years, right?
Yes, sir.
But when did you feel like, okay, I could start tagging on the walls? Like, did you practice before you went on the walls, or did you just go right to the walls?
No. You'd be a fool if you went up straight up, because nobody has that kind of skill. So I would practice, and you're given a name, you know, your tag name. So I'm practicing my tag name. And I always wanted to be Dreamer. I always thought that was cool, you know, because I'd seen on the cars. And in that time, we used to tag in the side windows, back in the passenger, in the back seat of the side windows. You put the names of songs, you know, Sad Girl, or, you know, Tears on My Pillow, or Dreamer, stuff like that. So I always thought, my mentality, I wanted to be Dreamer, but no, it doesn't work like that. It's your friends who give you the name.
Right.
So my name was Charles. I was raised Charlie. So I was Charlie Chingazo. Still cracks me up.
When did the Chazz Identity come out?
The Chaz Identity took about another 20 years, you know, because graffiti at that time in 69 and 70, only gangsters did it. And I've always stated, I'm not a gangster. It's an art thing, it's something of beauty. I go, that's for me, but I don't need to be a tough guy. I just take it to my own. At the same time, I was going to art school. I was going to Chennard Art Institute. So during the day, I would be painting, drawing naked women and men. And then at night, I would go out and do my tagging. Nobody knew that. I kept the two worlds totally separate. So everything was kind of new and exciting, and nobody saw graffiti as art. Nobody at that time. I'm talking about 1970.
When did you see the culture shift? Like, when did it start to become art and you started seeing that shift?
Oh, you know, well, they took to the 80s.
Did it?
The late 80s. And the video came out, Wild Style.
Wild Style came out.
Right. Tony Silver and Henry Show.
And in 79, too, in Blondie's video, Rapture, real graffiti in there, was Lee Quinones and Fat Five Freddy was in there. And that was when they was bringing the New York, the graffiti scene downtown to where Andy Warhol, and mixing fashion and graffiti at the time. So it was like this underground subculture mixed with this art scene and this fashion scene that was all coming together. So it started bubbling in New York and probably overflowed over to LA, huh?
They were legitimizing graffiti over there in New York with the videos, the gallery shows and all that. Here in LA, it was still gangster. A lot of Chicanos who tried to avoid my style of work because they were coming through the universities and all that. They didn't see the academic in it. They didn't see the credentials in graffiti. They felt, well, you know, I mean, John Bojorquez, on my first time I tried to show my graffiti with all the bunch of graffiti guys to the first graffiti show in LA. He says, you know, I can't do that because the other galleries won't take me serious if I started showing this kind of artwork.
So you're the godfather now. The lineage is cartoon, Mr. Sleeps, Deffer, Retina. You're the godfather of all these styles now. Do you think it's easier for people to do art than it was back in the 70s?
Maybe now they have a focus of what they want to do because they have examples and all that. In the 70s, this wasn't even considered.
And I can do this and get in galleries and I can make money. And back then you were just doing it because
there was no galleries.
There was none of this shit. There wasn't even a dream of just getting to the space it is today.
That's the way I still feel now.
Yeah.
I just do it for the love of it and who I meet and who I can work with and all that. I tell you, I have a good life.
Have you done an album cover before?
No, I've always wanted to. In the 80s, if you were a badass artist, it was because you did album covers. The best artists did album covers. You know, that was a high point.
Yeah, I know I've asked you that question before. When you told me you didn't, I was like, whoa, this is fucking gonna be amazing. I get to work with Chaz. First of all, I'm honored, and I was kind of blown away that you actually had time and wanted to do this. And then to know you haven't done an album cover, I was like, it's gonna be something great. Let's check this out. This is the album cover, y'all. Chaz, I want you to break this down for me.
Sure.
Like the meaning and the symbols.
You know, you came to my house and I said, let me do the title. Let me do a title.
Right.
And we would cut back and forth with the background, a lot of different things, and this is how it worked out. But the title, I go, Soul Assassins, I go, that's a hard word. That's gotta be hard, serious, thick, you know, some little gangster drop shadows, all that stuff. But soul, I thought of like Soul Train of the T program.
I think the same thing.
Right, so Soul Train, right? So I stretched it out,
Nice.
you know, that kind of like you too. Because letters should reflect exactly what they mean. You know, I learned that from when I worked in the movie industry. I did a lot of movie titles. There's a funny movie, Bouncing Letters, and you know, Fast and Furious, you make them all with lines, you know, make them fast looking. But this one here, I had to figure out exactly what a soul assassin is to you guys are. Here I have my Senor Suerte. Here's Mr. Lucky. Here's my skull. Originally I had it sideways with the fingers. Where we're shoulder, watching our backs. And then here I have essay as a third eye. We're always an essay, always watching our backs, our sides and all that. We always have a gangster mentality of protection of our family, of who we are and all that, and having respect. That's what that symbol means right there. We always have it here, you know. And then is the cross. I'm not being religious. It's the cross in front, the cross lights your path. And back here are names of my friends watching your back. So this is kind of like a story about who we are here in LA. Our friends, the light, the future, you know, being respectful, and also who you are. Tagged it like a street thing, Soul Assassins.
Which is fire. Kill it.
Yeah, and then we always go black and white here in LA.
Always.
Oh, definitely. My favorite colors are black and silver. You know, but yeah, really proud that this worked out.
That's beautiful.
Can't wait till it comes
Love
out.
it. Me too. I'm looking forward to this, man. This shit is dope. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.